Let me turn that down. What up, people? Smitty at the shop. Oh, look at that sexy guitar. Michael, straight from Philadelphia, bringing me some junk. What kind of junk we got on the trailer? Oh boy, oh boy. What did I step in at this time? He's holding up traffic and everything. He don't care. Yeah, straight from Copart, some G-Unk. I just got everything lit up here. It's my boy. All right, so looky here. We got ourselves a new project. And yeah, it's a Copart gem. Runs and drives. It got hit hard. No question about that. I don't think we have any frame damage. If we do, this is going to be a short video. One thing I was a little bit surprised of, it got hit hard enough that when Michael called me, he said, yeah, the center link's hanging down. I'm like, I must have busted the center link. It busted the shaft in the steering box. That's a hard hit. A little bit surprised and disappointed by that. But anyway, it's in the shop. I'm not going to mess with it tonight. It's a Friday night. It's almost 8 o'clock. I'm going to drink a beer and do some Googling of all things Jeep. And we're going to turn this into here's the plan. We're going to take what could possibly be the ugliest, most vanilla, most Magoo Jeep that I've ever seen and make it look relatively badass. That's the goal. Let's see what we can get out of this. Stay tuned. Good morning. All right, so Saturday morning here at the shop. We got the Jeep up on the lift. So I don't know if I mentioned, it's a 2013. That makes it a JK. 64,000 miles on the clock. So, I mean, certainly for this area, that's reasonable. Most of these that come into my shop have well over 100,000 on them. Took a quick look at it. As I mentioned, let me get a light here. As I mentioned, it snapped the shaft right off the steering box. So that thing got whacked hard in the right side, in this right side wheel. And actually, if you look, oh, I took it off. The wheel had a pretty good crack in it. Ripped the lower arm off. Typically, that would not be a big deal. You could just weld a new bracket on there. You can get some beefy brackets for it. Here's the issue. Besides the entire front diff being shifted over about 2 inches towards the driver's side, that's probably a bent bar or chassis part. I don't see anything frame related. You can see the coils and everything are shifted over to the side. Here's the bigger issue. If you look up here, now I'm looking at this part right here. You'll see that rust. That's because the coating has splintered away on that metal. That's bent. That's a real good indication that that's bent. And I mean, actually, as I look at it and compare it to the other side, you can see it's tweaked. You can also, if you look up there, see it's done something to the ball joint, like it's trying to yank it out of there or something. So at that point, we got to put the brakes on it. Last I looked, those diffs go for $2,500 to $3,000. I was hoping to keep this build at $15,000 or under. It's a pretty good size. I got body work I got to do anyway. I had already located a couple of used doors. I was going to go with the SmittyBilt fenders and rocker guards on the side. So that would have helped in that repair. That repair is challenging anyway, just because it's on the doorpost. There's going to be a certain amount of pulling there and aligning that's going to push. It's going to push my limits as far as what I'm capable of in body work. I'm going to have to, at this moment, I'm going to have to pause. I'm going to price some stuff out. and I'm gonna have to decide how far that's gonna push me over my budget, and then, you know, for me, if it's gonna be worth it or not. I can't have a 2013 with 60,000 miles. I felt like I was safe at 15,000 with the truck being done. I feel like there's still money left in it, even with a branded title. 18,000, I don't know. All right, let me pause. Okay, so what I've done there just temporarily is just ran a bead around that, just stuck that shaft up there, just because it was a nightmare to get this thing in and out of the shop. I'm hoping that pitman arm will get on there enough, just to hold it on there, just so I can get it in and out of the shop, or on the trailer if it ends up going back to auction. So we'll see how that works out. All right, so here's what we got then. We got the pitman arm back in place there. So I just welded that. Hopefully that'll hold up enough just to yard drive it, just to keep it around. I was gonna weld that in place, but really, what's the sense? I had to remove the steering stabilizer because that was bent, so that was keeping the wheels from turning anyway. So if you look at this, here's the driver's side wheel. Looks relatively normal. And if you come over here, you look at this one. I don't know if you can tell from video, but it's absolutely negative camber. The top of the tire is pushed in quite a bit, probably 1.5 inches or better, because of that tweaked piece on the differential. So let's break it down. All right, so quick breakdown, and I figured fat on all these numbers, but there you have it. You know, even with the $1,000 miscellaneous fees, and that doesn't include labor. You know, it's a project, so it's kind of a labor of love, although some would argue. It puts me at $9,700 investment on top of the Jeep. That's too much. My goal was $6,000, and obviously the front differential, you know, and I'm figuring fat on that, $2,800. So I think at this point what I'm going to have to do is really finesse those numbers and see how much fat I can trim. You know, the steering box, I have 300. That's actually 175 for one of them. Chassis parts, $500. You know, it'll probably be closer to 200 bucks. Used doors, $500 a piece is. That'll be a challenge actually to find them at that price. Wheels and tires, $1,500. You know, that's assuming I can find something used. So let me see if I can trim some of the fat off those numbers. Otherwise, this thing's gonna have to go back to auction. Oh, crap! It's after 12 too. I gotta run. I gotta go pick up the next project, which should be an interesting one also. And there you have it. That's what I just went and ran and picked up. 1974 Avion 28 Le Grand, which is French for big ugly camper, loosely translated. So that'll be the next video. We'll check this thing out, go inside it, see what it's all about. Check back for that one. All right, so here's what I've decided with the Jeep. Temporarily on pause until I can locate a front diff that I'm happy with price-wise. Because if I can't find one reasonable, that's just going to push the budget beyond what I want to do, and I'm just going to send it back to auction. I'm real particular about that stuff because, not that I took a burn, but when I did my 2500 HD Silverado, I was driving that thing for about a week before I realized the rear diff was tweaked on that. So, you know, you talk about a $2,500 surprise. Oh, guess what? You need to put a rear end in the thing now that the job's all done. I'll post some pictures of that. That was another hard hit. It caught me by surprise. I don't want to be surprised with this one. Plus, I want to keep it in a, I want to keep it under budget. So let's see what we can do. I did locate actually a pair of differentials on Facebook Marketplace, front and rear, in Massachusetts, so not too far. I think it's an hour and 45 away. Messaged the guy, but it's Marketplace. I've been waiting all day to hear back from him. So, assuming I hear back from that guy, it's the weekend. I'll jump in the truck and go grab them. But otherwise, we're in a holding pattern. Good morning. It's about 6:30, Sunday morning. It's the day after. I did hear back from the Jeep axle guy in Massachusetts. We struck a deal, came to a price we could both agree upon, so I'm on my way to Wilbraham, Massachusetts, which some of you may recognize as the home of Friendly's ice cream. If you've ever been down 90, or across 90, I should say, you'll see cutting shrubs. Welcome to Wilbraham or something, home of Friendly's ice cream. So that's where I'm heading to, picking up the JK axles. Not the same, there's actually front and rear. They're not the same ratio as in the Jeep, but they're actually 373s. My Jeep has 321s in it, so I'm probably going to swap out both axles. It'll run a whole lot better, since I'm going to put like 35s on it. So anyway, that's where we're heading. Let's hope it works out. And there you go. Truck full of JK axles. Loaded up, ready to roll. Very motivated young man that sold them to me. Even went and grabbed a skid steer so we could load them up. And we're getting back on the road all before 9 a.m. That works for me. All right, back to New York. Alright, so I just ordered the steering box. The good thing is, I don't know if you guys can see that link is bent right there. It's tie rod adjusting sleeve, I guess you would call it. The new diff came with that. He gave me the arms. I think there's one outer tie rod that I have to replace. I think that one, which I can swap off this. That's the good news. The bad news is I'm not going to put this in today, although I want to. I'm thinking to myself, it just doesn't make sense to put it in when then I'm going to have to take it all back down to do the lift on it. So, work smarter, not harder. I'm going to order the lift, which I had not planned on doing this soon. But let's see here. Let's revisit this. Keep you guys updated on price. So here's what we got with some revised numbers here. The front diff, actually the pair of differentials I bought this morning, $13.50 for both of them. The cool thing about them too is they came out of a Jeep that had a lift, so they already have bump stops on it. They already have a track bar relocator for the rear, and some other goodies that are going to save me on the lift kit also. So anyway, $13.50 for the pair of them. I ordered the steering box. That was $171. The chassis parts I'm putting at zero because The only thing I'm going to need at this point, I'm going to reuse the one inner tie rod that's on the truck. And I bought a couple of adjustable track bars, which I added in with the lift. So used doors for $1,000. The SmittyBilt fenders and rocker covers are going to be $13.50. The lift, so that's 2.5 inches. I know. 2.5 inch coil and shock kit with the adjustable track bars front and rear, $595. Wheels and tires, $1,500, and then the miscellaneous. So we're down right now at this point at $6,966 from $9,700. So we've chiseled that way down. I'd still like to be closer to $6,000, but the only where, I'm probably not going to spend $1,500 on wheels and tires. The miscellaneous at $1,000. The doors are what I'm going to really have to chisel on, but I'm not having any luck finding them yet. So that's where we're at right now. And just to quickly mention, 2.5 inches of lift. Yes, that's not a lot of lift. This is not an off-road vehicle. This is something I'm going to drive around a little bit, and then I'm going to sell it. So, and people don't off-road around here, generally speaking. Additionally, I got to consider budget. So if somebody wants it to be taller later, that's on them. I was not about to start changing drive shafts and everything else, though. Plus, with the SmittyBilt fenders, it makes for a huge wheel well. I think any more than a 2.5 inch lift on 35s with those fenders is not going to look good. I personally think it's going to look just right. Stay tuned. All right, people, that's it for part 1 of the new Jeep Wrangler project. Please like and subscribe if you're at all interested in the nonsense that gets carried out in Smitty's shop. Part 2 is going to come up relatively quick because I do not want to drag my feet on this project just because I have money tied up in it. The only thing that's going to derail me right now is this Pandemic Nova is still on the lift. I got to get epoxy primer on it. It's been in bare metal for too long. I have to finesse the body work on that and just get an epoxy primer. I'll probably put a quick video up when I get that done. Part 2 of the Jeep is going to be obviously ripping the differentials out, installing the new ones, as well as adding the lift kit at the same time. And then I'll probably take it for a blast down the road just to see how that thing runs and drives. So again, like and subscribe if you so desire. And that's it for now. So, Smitty, out.